Hello everybody and welcome to the TripleJump podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
Peter, this is a video games podcast.
Yes, it is.
We talk about video games and not jumping big.
Jumping big.
Not
well, it's
big
more about
jumps.
the distance rather than the height, the triple jump.
Well, define big.
High, tall, large.
Large. Wide?
Large. Yeah, I suppose if you large, light, but light down.
It's an
large
all-encompassing
at 90 degrees is, yeah, you're right. That's a big
large
jump
at 90 degrees jumping. That's
Yeah.
not what we're about here. What is going on with these chairs? I don't know if you can hear that on the microphone, but they are squeaking up a storm in here. So
You have
everybody
to
just...
remain absolutely... Is it the footrest or is it the actual chair? Take your feet off. It's just sort of the whole...
It's just the whole
entire structural integrity.
the whole thing. This is a podcast where we take some questions from... I didn't even move that time. The chair just wants in on the podcast.
Right.
Wants a credit.
Okay.
Where we take some questions from you at home. And when I say you at home, I mean patrons who support us over at patreon.com. Oh my God. Over at patreon.com/team triple jump. We're also going to talk about what we play in, which is a groundbreaking segment. Don't worry about it. It might go over your head. We'll get to it when we get there. Weird news, where we've both brought some strange news stories along.
Yeah.
And a big discussion. And as you can probably tell from the title of the podcast / the thumbnail for the video, you will know that it's about Sonic.
Yeah. That's what's in the news this week in the video game world.
I just thought we can't not talk.
No,
we
I
can't
mean,
not
you
talk
know,
about it, can
that's the story of the century, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it. Let's not get into it now because
Let's not get too excited.
we'll ruin the schedule.
First question, Peter, comes from Tom Price.
Tom Price.
Related to,
Ted
of course, well, I was going to say, I thought his dad was Fisher.
Oh, I see.
Maybe
Yeah.
his mum is Ted,
Right.
short for Theodorette.
Could you get a Fisher Price Teddy?
Oh, you could.
So it's sort of a Fisher Ted Price.
I don't know what to think anymore.
No. Will cheats in games ever make a comeback? Games such as GTA, Tony Hawk, etc. always had a long list of cheats that arguably, that's in brackets, arguably improved gameplay for casual / younger gamers. Tom Price thinks we're some sort of oracle. It's a straight question. It's not do you think, it's will cheats in games ever make a comeback? I don't know, Tom.
Peter,
I don't know.
Project yourself 40 years into the future. What do you see?
I see...
Fields of green?
I don't know, actually.
Red roses?
Certainly no red roses.
Right, okay.
I'm not even sure if the fields are going to be green in 40 years'
Yeah, that's
time.
going to be... What is green?
I see fields of brown,
Dead
global
flowers
warming.
too.
Yeah. I mean, my stance on this is that cheats have definitely dwindled in the form that we originally knew them. Cheat codes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the content still exists. It's just it now exists in the form of, obviously there's mods, which admittedly aren't put there by developers. They're put there by the players. But you know, there's similar kind of effects and visual alterations that cheat codes used to do are now mods. You know, changing your costume or having infinite ammo or whatever. And also DLC.
Yes.
It's kind of become a DLC thing now to a certain
sort
extent.
of microtransactions.
Yeah, exactly. And in that case, I don't think publishers, those money-grabbing bar stools, are ever going to relinquish their ability to charge extra for things like, oh, hey, do you want to play as Spider-Man in this game? Well, now you can. Obviously not in
For
Insomniac
money.
Spider-Mans, but yeah, for money. You know, Tony Hawk doing a deal and saying, hey, we've done a deal, but it's DLC and now you can play as Darth Maul.
Yeah. £2.
Yeah. I think that's the way it's going. I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of cheat. You know, there's always going to be the ability to for developers to put codes in if they want to do fun things. And I think there's probably going to be Konami code Easter eggs till the end of time.
Yeah, probably.
But in terms of like costumes and like bonus levels and secrets and things like that, those were very much an old-fashioned, let's hide a thing on our disc that only comes out in disc.
Right.
Our game that only comes out in physical format back in the the noughties. But now that everything's digital, or it can be,
No, I think you're right. The times they are a-changing, but it's been like this for a long time. You got to remember that obviously GTA has always supports crazy cheats straight off the bat, but equally a lot of games go the Uncharted route, where you finish the game and it gives you access to various gameplay modifiers to make it a bit more fun. I think games, while they're still primarily an entertainment source, obviously they've matured as the times and have gone on, and the industry itself has matured, especially with the introduction of I think trophies and achievements and all that kind of stuff. If they gave you access, I mean, how GTA does it is if you enter a cheat code, it just disables trophies until the cheat codes are disabled, which is one way to do it. But I think primarily, these games are designed as a creative expression and an art form, and developers just want you to play it through first. And if you want to have silly modes in there afterwards, then they can add those in by selling them to you, which could be considered insidious, or by allowing you to unlock it for completing certain in-game objectives. Which I think is the way to do it personally, because I would rather. GTA is a special exception just because that's just always been the way they've done it.
Yeah, definitely,
But certainly a game like The Last of Us, which I don't think has any cheats in it, but just as an example, I wouldn't want to play through The Last of Us knowing that I could enable big head mode immediately. I wouldn't want that. That would just sort of it feels like it would take the experience down a notch, so to speak. But, I'd happily play through it again with big zombie head mode.
Yeah, and that's something that does actually go back further than you think. I mean, you're right that I think that is now more the case currently as the industry has matured somewhat. But there's some games, I mean, Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1 game on PS2, that had unlockable cheats, I think. So you couldn't play them at the beginning, but as you went through, you unlocked various outfits, you unlocked big head mode, unlimited webbing, and stuff like that. But you could also type them in as codes. Whereas, I think you're right, actually. I think it's a good thing to... Uncharted's a good case in point. There's various silly things you can unlock, or you can play through the entire thing in your scuba suit, or a tux, and I think people should play through a game once before they put cheats on. That was always my rule, my honor system, or what's it called, honesty box,
right,
at home, which is that I would only enable cheats once I'd finished the game. No unlimited weapons for me until I've done that final boss.
Did you ever have one of those? I think some people had Game Sharks and things like that, but did you ever have one of the... I had the Exploder cheat disc that you put in first.
Yeah.
And then once you'd loaded your cheats on PS2, then you'd put in the game.
Right.
But they weren't... I wouldn't call those cheats so much as they were actually just sort of hacking into the game.
They were hacks.
They were hacks, and they were going into sort of debug consoles and menus that you shouldn't be able to see.
Yeah.
To enable things that, like God mode that developers have access to test things.
Yeah.
Did you ever have one of those?
No, I was aware of them, and sometimes you'd be I'd be looking at cheats online after I'd finished a game, I wonder what I can do. And sometimes listed there would be some various Game Shark codes that you could use.
Yeah.
And I'd be what is this thing? And I'd be oh man, you can... the only codes that are native to this game are big head mode or whatever, big feet mode. And then I'm looking at these Game Shark codes where it's but if I had a Game Shark, I could make it so that my character can fly, which you can't do in the game at all. And, it sounded magical, but I just never really got round to investing in one. But,
I mean, I don't know from a legal perspective how those really stood. They sold them in game and things, so I'd like to think that they were allowed to exist, but certainly these days I don't think that would work anymore, especially with online.
There'd be too much protection on the games as well. I think it's probably a lot harder to kind of hack into them with the equivalent of a Game Shark,
probably. But with multiplayer and achievements and trophies, again, that would just completely wreck any ecosystem that a hardware manufacturer wanted to construct, because you could just completely destroy it.
Definitely.
And people do anyway by actually just hacking their consoles, but it's far more complicated. Sometimes it's not, but it's far more complicated than knowing that you can just go and buy a disc that will make you invincible forever. Which is something else.
What I've written. I was going to say, with multiplayer, so many games now have online multiplayer, and it's it makes sense to have cheats in something like a Uncharted or Spider-Man, but the moment that you're playing Fortnite, there's never going to be cheats for that.
You've just got to be
only illegal
really
hacks.
Good.
Yeah.
Really good at Fortnite.
MLG.
Mm-hmm. All day blaze it.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't know that we'll ever see a return to that. I think certain games will continue to champion cheats, and some games will just sell them to you.
Yeah. But we'll certainly never go back, I think.
I don't think so.
It might not change much from this point, but yeah, we won't be returning.
I think we've seen the best of it.
It's time for a cutting edge section.
A what?
You know how you say the industry has matured?
Yeah.
So have we.
Have we?
And we've made this new segment that we call
Yeah.
What We Playing?
Peter, what we playing?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and explain it to you.
Okay.
Do you have your calculator?
No.
Well, then there's no point.
Oh.
This is a section where we talk about the games what we played in the last week.
Right.
I'm going to go first, Peter.
Yeah, you go first.
Because I've got an interesting one that people might not expect unless you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, in which case you will expect. But
I just poured my drink all over me, but please.
You
please
really did, didn't you?
Yeah,
It's
really
all over your arm.
Yeah.
Nice work, buddy. That's what you're playing.
Yeah, I'm playing up.
The drying game.
Yeah.
Pack it in. I remember my aunt using the phrase pack it in to talk to my cousins. And I, for some reason, because I'd never really heard that phrase before, in my mind, I just had a very vivid image of a packet of crisps.
Pack it in.
Pack it in.
I have two brief anecdotes to go off that. The first one, the only one I was going to tell you until you said crisp packet was that I was.
Did you go to school with Christopher Packet?
No, I didn't. No, so this is the non-crisp related one.
Okay.
I was sitting in the cinema once, and a couple of rows behind me, there were these like asshole teenagers, or they weren't even. I think they were like 13.
Okay.
And I think I was younger than them. I was about 10, and a couple of seats in front of me, there was this quite old dad. He looked about 50, and he was quite like big and scary, and he had a scary beard. There was something about his beard that made him scary, and he was there with just his daughter. And these kids behind me were throwing popcorn.
Oh,
and they just at first they were just throwing it around, and then they decided let's throw it at those people, and they kept doing it. And I could see him like sort of shuffling and reacting, but thinking like, I'm not going to cause a scene.
Yeah.
And then eventually, out of nowhere, middle of the film, they throw one, and he turns around and he goes, "Pack it in, whoever it is." And I was like, oh God, I hope he doesn't think it's me. And I was really scared.
That is spooky. That spooky dad lost his temper.
Yeah.
I've only done that once in a cinema,
Have
not
you?
with someone throwing stuff at me, but I went to go see Logan Lucky.
Oh yeah.
Like a couple of years ago now. I didn't think much of that film. It might have been because I was really annoyed the whole way through, because it was a very quiet screening. It was me, Mikey, and Jules went to go see it, and in the back there were like 5 probably similar age, sort of 12, 13-year-old girls, and they were just sprinting, like talking loudly and just running up and down. It was one of the smaller screens.
Right.
And it was doing my head in because they
Why
would stop.
You run up and down?
They were just messing around.
Gosh.
They were just messing around, and they had, like, they would just stop for a while and then they would start doing it again, and it was just making me so mad.
Yeah.
And I turned around and just yelled at them.
Yeah, what did you say?
I just said, "Stop it.
Yeah.
Can you stop it, please?" And then they went, "Oh yeah, sorry."
Well, yeah, why?
Because they don't think, like,
why have they paid to get in to run around a dark?
Because they're teenagers. They don't care. Like, it's exciting to them because they're in a quiet place and they can just be pests. And I don't think they thought that we would do anything. And then as soon as I reacted, they stopped completely for the rest of the film. But I was sat there just seething, like adrenaline going, because I've had to tell off children that aren't mine. And I think about it quite a lot.
Right.
Just because it's one of those things where you just get really annoyed about something.
Yeah.
And you think about it for ages afterwards. And I think, should I have lost my temper, or should I have just quietly and calmly got a steward and asked them to just be removed?
But then
from the
you have to
screen?
leave the screen, don't you? And you have to go and get.
I wasn't enjoying Logan Lucky at that point anyway. So anyway, sorry.
The one other thing I was going to tell you. Sorry, I know we're way off
crisp
topic.
packets.
I'll be really quick. You know, you said you sort of. When she said pack it in, you weren't sure what she meant by that, and you just thought of crisp packets.
Yeah.
I remember being it was my first day at nursery, so that's pre-reception. That's at 4 years old.
You remember this?
I remember this day because it really scared me. And I was a bit sort of worried when, it was the first time I was going to be without my mum, basically, as like a 4-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And we'd all been playing for a couple of hours, and I was like, oh no, I'm having a good time. Then the teacher, or not the teacher, just the minder, said, okay, it's time to go now. Pack away, like that. And as a 4-year-old, because my lexicon was quite small, I'd only heard the word pack used in the context of going on holiday at that point.
Oh no.
And I was really scared that we were going away and my mum wouldn't, like I would never see my mum again.
Jesus Christ, Peter. You were like a dog who'd heard the word
vet
or
Yeah. So I thought we had to like pack a bag and I was like, but my mum's, I didn't say anything, but I was thinking, my mum's coming to get me. And I was really scared and sad.
Oh, poor Peter.
That was okay. Ben, what are you playing?
Jesus Christ. How long have we been recording for? 7 hours. Look at that. My goodness, time flies, doesn't it? I played Pokemon Snap.
Oh, yeah.
My cousin gave me an early birthday present, and he managed to find his Pikachu Nintendo 64, and he gave it to me.
Wow.
What a gift. He just had it in like a shoebox, and was like, here you go. And it was a family event over the weekend, just gone. And we'd all met up at my grandparents, and we just hooked it up to their TV, and we were just playing some Pokemon Snap.
Because you're not an N64 boy, are you?
No, never had an N64.
Have you ever played one?
Yeah, well, I played that specific one at my cousin's house in the 90s, but I'd never had one myself. So I used to watch him play Pokemon Snap, and incredibly, his Pokemon Snap save data was intact. So the photos that we were taking, we were competing with him from the 90s, from a score basis, which was really,
it gets replaced, doesn't it?
You get the option to So that was pretty cool. It's a great game. It's appearing on a list that I think is coming out next week about Pokemon games that broke the traditional mold, and it's too short, and there aren't enough Pokemon on it, and they should have done a sequel to it. Yeah. And why has there not been a sequel to it?
There should be. Know. Maybe there will be one day.
I hope so.
I would love a Pokemon Snap too. I don't even mind that it's on rails. If they brought another one and it was on rails, I think that's part of the challenge. Like you're learning, at this moment something jumps out.
If I do this at this time, I only have a certain amount of time to throw a pester ball at this Squirtle. Otherwise, it will just remain a shell in the water. Yeah. It's awesome. It's so good. And played a little bit of Pokemon Coliseum as well.
Good. Pokemon Stadium.
Yes, sorry, Pokemon Stadium. And a Hot Wheels game that he had and still has. And it's bloody awful. Like, it's just so terrible. But still have some memories of playing that with him. Because you don't know any better. It's just like, no, it's a racing game. This will be fun.
That's advertised to me in the breaks on children's TV.
Just crap, rubbish game. But what about you?
We, at time of recording, have just been playing Time Splitters 3 Future Perfect.
Oh, my goodness. One of my favourite games.
One of my favourite games, certainly of its era. I've played that game so much, and I really enjoyed going back and playing that. Yeah. I think it's actually aged quite well, apart from the graphical glitches we were having from the emulation.
Those were on what's the term that I'm looking for? On brand.
On brand.
Those were on brand.
But because of the slightly weird style that Free Radical were doing back then with their engine, whatever it was called, I don't know. I'd have to do some research for that. I think it's quite stylized, and I don't think it's aged too badly, really.
No, me neither.
It does help when you're emulating because that renders it at the very best it could possibly be.
Right.
So it's nice and crisp and sharp edges. Probably wouldn't look too good on a PS2, It'd be a bit muddy.
Maybe not.
But other than that, I think it's a lot of fun. The sense of humor hasn't aged too badly either because it's a little bit, we said at the time when we were playing, there's a fair few sort of sexy lady kind of images.
It's very
jokes.
sort of PS2 era sort of.
It is.
Yeah.
But considering that, I don't think that's aged too badly either.
No.
When you compare
there's certainly worse.
Exactly. When you compare it to the Duke of the Newcombs, who really, I don't know if they could ever bring out another Duke Nukem game that was sort of true to form. They'd have to sort of very carefully pick what jokes he did and didn't make.
Yeah, it would have to be central to the plot that someone's censoring him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine to, have a go at the aliens, but I don't know, all the kind of bum slapping and, tearing clothes off people. And
right.
I don't know if that would go down as well now.
Probably not.
I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm just saying
the reaction
wouldn't be good. But yeah, we've been playing together. We've been playing that,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to continue to do so on Thursdays on YouTube.
Yeah, we're streaming on YouTube on Thursday, joined by a lot of people who've never been able to catch a Twitch stream before for various reasons, mainly because Twitch is frightening and hostile. It's not at all, but,
no, it's lovely, but
we were still thrilled to see our core Twitch supporter base joining us on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So we will continue to stream on Twitch for our solo streams on Mondays and Tuesdays. But as far as our Thursday duo streams, those will be on YouTube now.
Yeah.
And we'll be tweeting about those when they're going live and all that kind of stuff. So keep an eye out.
Yes. Ben,
next question.
we've got a question for you to read.
This is from Reese Jones. And Reese Jones says, Marvel's Spider-Man and the Batman Arkham series are fantastic games that make you feel like their respective heroes. What superhero would you like to see get the same treatment? And who would develop it? Now, I don't know if you remember, Peter, but it must have been a couple of years ago now, Disney basically said, okay, everyone who's got these superhero licenses of ours on the Marvel side, give them back. We've got an idea. And it's sort of, I can't remember what the name is. I'm just going to refer to it as the Avengers Initiative, just because that's what it's called in the films. But they announced like at least a couple of partners that they were going to be working with, sort of outside studios, because I don't know if Disney has any internal studios anymore, but they certainly used to. Obviously, there was Marvel's Spider-Man, which was developed by Insomniac, and you have to assume that there's a partnership there because Sony owns the movie rights to Spider-Man still.
Yeah.
And they also announced that Square Enix was going to develop an Avengers game, and that has just been radio silence since then. So I don't know if we'll be seeing that at E3 this year or maybe sometime soon. But in terms of, the idea of giving superhero licenses to top quality studios, it seems, at least on the Marvel side, that that's what Disney's trying to do.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. As a Marvel fan, as a superhero fan, I'm excited to see what comes out of the woodwork.
It's actually arguably, until Spider-Man came out, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to think of other Marvel superhero games of the past decade. But
there was a Captain America movie tie-in.
Well, this is what I'm about to say, is that like it's arguably where DC have been winning. If you look at the Arkham games, I don't know if they've done anything else DC.
Well, they had Injustice as a fighting game.
Yeah, Injustice is all right.
Also, there was X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was a surprisingly really good movie tie-in.
I've heard that. I've not played that one.
I haven't either. Apparently, Hugh Jackman doesn't know how violent it is.
Right,
because it's like super violent and gory, and he did all the voice acting for it. Apparently, he wasn't told quite how horrible it was. So that's something I remember hearing at the time.
Well, I'm not as big a superhero fan as you are, but I do have a couple of ideas that I think could be interesting.
Yeah,
I think a Doctor Strange super psychedelic, Inception warpy, teleporting, bending cities kind of game could be intriguing. It might make you vomit, but I think there's some fun to be had there with just the visual style alone would be interesting. I don't know who I would necessarily get to develop it, but Doctor Strange is an interesting character. I also think it would be pretty fun to play as Magneto. And maybe I'd just give that to Insomniac because they did a good job with Spoderman.
Playing as a villain would be fun.
And I mean, he's almost an anti-hero, isn't he? Like sometimes he's treated as
depends how he feels when he wakes up.
Film, yeah, exactly. So that could be fun. I just like being able to throw things around and fly, and he can do those things.
Deadpool was pretty good as well.
Deadpool was pretty good. I played that on Steam on PC, and I thought it was pretty respectable. That was quite Duke Nukem-y there. It was Deadpool.
Yeah, just Deadpool.
No
Nolan North did very well.
Yeah,
playing Deadpool there.
Did you play it?
No, I didn't. It was one that I was tempted to get, but then I was put off by reviews, and then it was re-released on PS4, and I thought maybe now, and then I just never got around to it.
I didn't finish it, but what I did play, I enjoyed. The one other thing, not actually superhero related, so it's a bit of a cheat, but it's comic book.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd.
Okay.
There was a really good, it's aged really badly, but at the time it was a really good Judge Dredd game called Dredd vs. Death.
Okay.
And that was like a first-person Judge Dredd game. You could go around and you arrested people who you were sort of sent out to arrest, but you could also arrest anyone you met. And it would just come up with, they don't have a goldfish license, so they go into jail for 3 months and stuff.
My God.
So you could just walk up and literally arrest anybody. It was just a lot of fun. Like it felt a little bit time splittersy. I don't even know. Maybe it was even Free Radical who made it. Maybe not. I might just be making that up because it was quite similar. But yeah.
Well, there you go.
So I'd like to see that again. But
yeah. There have been numerous rumors. And...
Oh, it was Rebellion. Sorry.
Was it Rebellion?
I've written it down, yeah.
And does Rebellion exist anymore?
I don't know. No, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if they were one of the ones that have died. There have been numerous rumors and confirmations and then retractions about what Rocksteady are working on next. Some people saying, it's a Silver Age DC Justice League game, or it's not going to be a superhero game at all. There were rumors they're working on a Superman game.
Yeah.
But I don't think... This is part of a larger issue, really. I don't think superheroes who have the power of flight can easily be given a game.
No, that's a
just
good point.
because designing an interesting world around someone who never has to land is kind of hard.
You say that, but Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, yes, but Spider-Man spends a lot of time by his very nature and power set running up the side of buildings, and he doesn't have to be on the ground if he doesn't want to be, but like I'd argue that's very different from
He can't
flight.
hover in the air, yeah.
No, exactly. And he's very versatile in that he is just as much at home, like on top of a skyscraper, as he is just walking around on the street high-fiving people. But something like Superman, I don't really know how that would work. And you sort of have to look at Superman 64 and things like that to realize. And even like I played a lot of DC Universe Online on PS3, and there's... Like, you can choose the different types of traversal that you prefer, like super speed and that kind of thing. But if you don't choose flight, you're a chump, because those cities are they just exist to house quests.
Right.
So they're not very interestingly designed at all. And if you want to experience all of that, go for it. But honestly, the best way to do it is get flight and get the power up that lets you fly at double speed, just so you can get from A to B as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And that does not make for an interesting world. So I think a flight game is hard, but you can also look to just do a completely different genre than you might expect, like a real-time strategy game like Age of Empires, but with Thanos.
Oh my God!
I don't know, like you just like Star Wars did, just start invading all the different genres of games and see what you can make.
Some kind of hero battler where they're in a kind of Thunderdome, so it doesn't matter that you can fly because there's just a roof on it. And they're just in this arena and they have to fight each other. Yeah, maybe that.
There's lots of options. I think we'll see some really interesting stuff from Disney over the next few years, or at least Disney pushing for interesting games to be made.
Why not? If we're mixing up genres, let's do let's do Marvel versus DC Racer. That would be fun.
I'd play
the
that.
Flash would just win, though, wouldn't he? I bet his car goes as fast as he does.
Yeah, well, if he goes too fast, though, he goes back in time.
Oh, God,
so he could just be in last.
There's a limit. He can only go up to the speed of light, otherwise he ends up in last place.
Well,
that would be weird, wouldn't it, Ben? Wouldn't that be weird?
That would be weird.
It would be a weird thing,
it would be so weird.
It might be weird enough that the following morning, it might make the weird news.
Weird. It's weird time. Weird news time. It's time for weird news. This is where we each bring a piece of weird news along to talk to each other about.
Yes, we do.
Peter, I've got a weird news for you.
Okay.
This is actually slightly older.
Weird me.
Than I was expecting.
Oh.
This is Fallout 76 news.
Is it not current?
I mean, current-ish in that Fallout 76 still has its servers on. It's an Easter egg in Fallout 76. Now, some of you may know, and as you know, Peter, I'm a big fan of a YouTube series called Monster Factory.
I thought you were going to say I'm a big fan of Fallout 76.
Well, that
you
too.
Kind of are.
But I haven't played it since I got the Platinum Trophy, because that was what was keeping me going. I got the Platinum Trophy in Fallout 76, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. It's not a big deal.
Monster Factory is great.
Monster Factory is incredible. It's a Polygon series on their YouTube channel, and it's put together by Griffin and Justin McElroy of the McElroy brothers, and they just go from game to game using the creation suite to make monsters.
The worst possible, ugliest protagonists.
Yeah, but they sort of love them. They love each of them dearly.
Yeah.
And then they just go into the game world and sort of wreck it. And in Fallout 76, there is it has been made canon that their Fallout 4 Monster Factory, the Final Pam.
The Final Pam?
The Final Pam
I know that one.
From their brilliant... If you watch any Monster Factory, watch the series of videos on Fallout 4 where they made the Final Pam. She is officially canon in Fallout 76.
What? How?
No,
There's no NPCs.
I totally missed this at the time. This comes from October, and this particular news story is reported by thegamer.com.
So this is just news to you, not news to the rest of the world.
This is not news to the rest of the world necessarily. It's olds. The McElroy brothers are actually from West Virginia, which is where Fallout 76 is set. So there's another tie-in there. So Fallout 76, the online multiplayer post-apocalypse survival game, may have just made the franchise's best-known fan creation canon. The Final Pam, which is just such a good name, created, released by Griffin and Justin McElroy for their Polygon video series Monster Factory, is clearly being referenced in, and this really dates this article, the Fallout 76 beta. And then there's a link to the video. Monster Factory is a YouTube series wherein brothers Justin and Griffin McElroy play with the character creation options in a number of games. Most of their creations are horrifying / beautiful perversions of the game's worlds they inhabit. But Fallout 4's Final Pam seems to have transcended such petty concerns. And the big thing about the Final Pam is that she was sort of just breaking free from the constraints of the game.
Yeah, she broke the fourth wall.
And was just going to come for all of us in the real world because she's so powerful. So here we go. In a house on the way to Camden Park, there is a number of wooden blocks on top of a TV set that spells out Pam.
Right.
There is a rad roach, a dead rad roach on the toilet wearing a top hat who is wedding ready, which is another reference because they had Roachy who they married.
That's right.
In game, and they just carried around this dead rad roach with them for ages.
Yeah.
There is a coffee can in a child's crib, which was their new baby.
Yeah.
And a discarded metal husband / Mr. Handy robot on the floor.
Metal husband.
So, Trash Hulk and metal husband. So basically, there's just this massive love letter to Monster Factory and the Final Pam.
All in one house.
All in one house. All in basically a collection of rooms downstairs in one small house on the way to Camden Park in Fallout 76. And
Brilliant.
I just thought that was brilliant.
You have to go find it.
I should, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I think I've still got it downloaded. I worked too hard for my jetpack to delete that game.
Because it's an online multiplayer game.
Yeah.
How does it work in terms of like trashing up the world? So what if you went there and it had already all the blocks had been moved and stuff, and it doesn't spell Pam anymore?
I think
it's generating a new instance every time you load in.
I think it's instanced per server, and the servers either crash or reset relatively frequently. There's always loads of servers going. Basically, the default state of that world is to have the Final Pam reference in there.
Yeah.
If someone goes in there and purposefully wrecks it, i.e. they can't move, you can't move bodies in Fallout 76 like you can in the other games. And you can't move objects either other than things that you can shoot or blow up. Okay. So if they threw a grenade in there, then the blocks would probably disappear. And people can pick up blocks. Right. And they can pick up the coffee tin, for example. Yeah. They could probably knock the rad roach off the toilet. So there's a good chance that someone could go in there and try and wreck it, but there's a 99.9% chance that it'll be absolutely fine. Okay. And even if you went in there after someone tried to wreck it, they wouldn't be able to wreck it beyond recognition. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was amazing. That's great. Super weird. Yeah. That it is Final Pam is canon. Wow. Final Pam. Peter, what you got?
I got some weird news for you.
Okay.
This comes from PC Gamer.
Yeah.
It's about something that has gone through on Kickstarter. It's been fully funded.
Okay.
It's a video game.
Yeah.
It's on the way to you right now.
On the way to me right now.
This is by Fraser Brown on PC Gamer.
What's Fraser Brown got for me?
An erotic Lovecraft game has been funded on Kickstarter.
Wow, tell me more.
The subtitle is Hot for Cthulhu. Apparently.
Nice.
Lust from Beyond.
Yeah.
Looks like Amnesia with giant alien vaginas. Oh, it's an erotic first-person horror romp inspired by the likes of Lovecraft and Geiger, who's I'm not well read enough.
Is that the guy who
Kurt Geiger?
That's the guy who done the designs for the Allens in the film Allen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's Alien. I think he did the Alien designs. H something Geiger or something.
Right. I mean, that was a whole sort of metaphorical.
That was
it?
quite erotic as well.
There was a lot of stuff going on.
Willies and things.
Inspired by the likes of Lovecraft and Geiger, with a horny cult trying to open a door to a sex dimension.
Wow.
Typical cult stuff. Expect puzzles, corridors that look like xenomorph nests, and quivering sentient cocks.
Oh my God.
Check out the Kickstarter trailer above. It's a bit NSFW.
So we'll never be able to play this on the channel,
No.
basically. Okay.
As a Victorian antiquarian plagued by visions of the aforementioned sex dimension, you decide to join the Cult of Ecstasy to figure out what's going on with your weird dreams. The cult seems to know how to have a good time, namely with orgies. But when that's not enough, they decide to open the door to Cthulhu's sex pad.
Oh, no.
Though evocative of amnesia, you'll actually be able to fight the monsters chasing you through the vagina tunnels, though you can still try to hide from them. I'm sure they just want to cuddle, though. I don't think I want a cuddle from a sex star.
From a sex monster.
Amnesia monster.
No, I don't think so.
Lust from Beyond is a standalone game, but it's also a sequel.
Is it?
Yeah, to Lust for Darkness.
Oh.
Which had a nearly identical premise. A guy goes to a Victorian mansion and then finds himself hanging out in some alien dimension we'll be visiting again. It looked interesting, but James ended up just finding it childish. I don't know who James is.
Is that the guy who made the game?
No. I don't...
Is it a hyperlink to a review?
No.
I don't know then.
It's not hyperlinked. I don't know if it's just a guy who commonly writes for PC Gamer.
That seems
like
a
these
strange
in the magazines,
reference.
didn't they? Like,
yeah.
Oh, this is one for you, Matt. And it would just be...
I don't know who Matt is.
Yeah.
Never met Matt in my life.
The sequel was funded on Kickstarter in only 10 days.
Wow. How much money is it? Do you know?
Though the developer was only looking for $8,000. Still a lot of money, though.
It is a lot of money. How much have they got? Do we know?
Well, it's fully funded. It might be... I'll have a look in a minute, actually.
Okay.
Backers will get an exclusive demo within 24 hours.
Oh.
But there's no release date yet. Ooh, release date. The Steam page says coming soon.
Oh, very good.
With an O, not...
Oh, okay. Well, that's not very clear.
No, it just says coming soon.
Okay.
Let me go to the Kickstarter and see if it says how much they got total.
See what you can see.
Yeah. So that's definitely something we're not going to be able to play.
Sadly not. But if you're into that, it's still time to kickstart it, maybe.
How much do you think they got?
Well, they wanted $8,000.
Yeah.
Did they get 10?
They got more than 10.
Did they get 15?
They got more than 15.
20?
They got £22.5 thousand.
That's a lot of pounds.
That's 1.5 thousand backers.
It's more than I earn in 6 years, Pete.
And there's 32 days to go as well. Let me see what the top reward is. If you donate...
You won't have to see this game. You won't have to think about this game. That's your reward.
If you're on the Lustful God tier,
wow,
which is 5,000 Canadian dollars or more, which is £2,851, you get create place in the game. Send us concept art or description. So you get to make a place.
Right.
Send us your photo and become a statue.
Oh.
Write a short note on a wall. Cult membership, your name in a book in the game. Full Steam key release, game demo, wallpapers pack, additional NSFW wallpapers pack,
wow.
Art book, end credit thanks, and soundtrack digital.
Do we even know what this is? It's a very small budget. Do we know what the quality of this art is going to be?
It's surprisingly good.
Is it?
I mean, it might be very much like an asset flip, but it looks. I mean, we can't sort of play this and show this.
Showing it to me now.
But just so you can quickly get an idea of the visuals, let me...
Okay.
See, I mean,
that's not bad.
It's got lighting and like shadows and textures.
It's well presented.
It looks like that Call of Cthulhu game.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh, those are boobs. Okay, cool. Well, there we go. That's
so
what
yeah,
we can
it actually
expect
looks like visually respectable. I mean, like I say, it might be just a load of Unity assets that they're doubling down on.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, you can have a place in the game if you want. Just send me your concept art. Hang on, I'm not a designer.
Send me your photo and I'll make you into a statue.
I don't want
next to
that.
one of the quivering sentient penises in the vagina tunnel.
Great.
Yeah, brilliant.
Amazing. Well, that was weird, wasn't it?
Well, yes, it was. We've got a question here.
Yeah.
From Steve Zace. Which I realised the other day, if you flip the letters round, it could be like Stacey. Do you think her name is Stacey?
Or it might be Stephen Zace.
It might just be Stephen Zace.
I don't know.
Going by Steve.
We've mispronounced it on the stream several times. I don't think they've ever corrected us.
We've mispronounced it.
Well, as in we've said it several ways on the stream before.
Yeah.
And they've never
I just wondered if
know.
it was like a clever username where it's like my name's Stacey, so it'll be Steezace. But anyway, are game devs going too far in making games replayable or forcing a longer playtime with pointless collectibles, DLC, or endless side quests? And what games are the worst for it, in your opinion?
Oh, a lot of games do this, just sort of give you busy work.
Yeah, they do.
I can't speak to any particular ones at the moment in terms of busy work because I feel like that's almost every RPG ever released.
Yeah.
But certainly playing so much Borderlands recently, oh boy, do they love making you run through areas again and again. Especially when you start to pick up a lot of side quests that you will then not unlock more side quests until you've handed in those side quests.
Right.
And they also require you to run across a big area, especially some of the DLC maps that don't let you have vehicles in them, which usually they'd give you vehicles to get around a lot faster.
Yeah.
And what they do is they put the map is hard enough to navigate in Borderlands anyway, because it can be confusing about where the map marker is and what floor it's on and all that kind of stuff. But they will make you run all the way to the end of a level and then run all the way back to leave the level.
Brilliant.
So that takes ages.
Yeah.
I know, I haven't played it, but I know that Assassin's Creed Odyssey came under a lot of fire because there's a lot of grinding in that game to level up.
Yeah.
And they will happily sell you a booster pack that makes you level up faster.
So that you can kill people with your hidden blade, because if they're a higher level than you, but you stab them in the neck by surprise.
It just snaps off.
It just breaks off.
It's like a wet noodle.
Yeah.
So I think that's an example of it probably going too far.
Yeah.
Because they've actually monetized making you waste your time almost. Where they're like, yeah, we know this is taking a while.
Yeah.
But you can make it a little bit easier for yourself if you give us some more money. That's
it's like
not
mobile
okay.
games that have
it's
a recharge of 24 hours, and then you're like, or you can spend money.
At least the mobile games are free though.
Yeah.
Usually
like
this is not okay, and people should be outraged by that. But what about you? Do you have some examples?
I don't play Final Fantasy games, but I have read on the internet that Final Fantasy IX had a trophy where you have to do 10,000 kills.
Right.
Can you confirm or deny?
I don't know. I didn't. I still have not made a dent in the re-release of Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah.
It's been a long. Obviously, when I played it originally, it didn't have trophies.
But no, of course. But I've seen a lot of people complaining on forum posts that like, wow, this is a massive grind. Also. A game that I've not played, Dark Souls 3. Apparently, getting all the spells is a trophy, and that's all tricky to do.
All of the games are like that, but I know in particular that Dark Souls 3, in order to get all of the rings, that requires, I think, up to either New Game Plus 3 or New Game Plus 4.
Oh my god!
And certain criteria to be met in order to get all the rings. Fortunately, though, a very nice man, and this is a case of just paying it forward because I don't think he did it himself. But I was part of a chain of people, and I've since done it for other people as well, where he was a listener to my podcast and just said, hey, I've got all the rings. Do you want them?
Yeah.
And so he came into my game, dropped all of the rings, and then left. And before he did so, he uploaded his save data and then re-downloaded it.
Oh, cool.
And now we've both got all the rings.
So you can just duplicate.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I've done that several times since to, help out people and stuff. And I know my friend did it legitimately. He nearly lost his mind doing it. So, kudos to whoever did it legit. But yeah, those are definitely grinds.
Yeah. I mean, the one other thing I've put down here is like, it's not, I mean, I wouldn't even know, but my understanding is that it's not anything grindy. But the reason that you and I partly don't feel compelled to play through Red Dead Redemption 2 is that there's just so much content. I mean, that's certainly my reason for it.
Yeah.
It just seems a bit daunting and a bit like, I you can almost do too much, and I'm not interested in like hunting for food for my camp or like skinning rabbits or washing my horse or having a bath.
Yeah.
If I wanted to have a bath, I'd have a real bath where it's hot and relaxes your muscles and smells like Radox lavender and chamomile.
That's one of my favorite miles.
Yeah. So that's the other thing I think, like, that's not the Rockstar going, oh, how can we make people drag out this game and play it for as long as possible? That's them just thinking, oh, people will want all these options and they'll want this sort of life simulator game for an Old West.
Cowboy Sims.
Yeah, Cowboy Sim. But yeah, to me, that's another kind of information overload or not even information overload, but just overloaded with options and like too many things.
It's just so much. There's so much in that game. It's that you're right. That's not. It's not Rockstar thinking how can we drag out this game, but it certainly does drag out the game, and that is one of the reasons why it's just like I kind of just want, if I could just play the missions sequentially, that would kind of be great, because I'd love to experience that story, but I don't want to inhabit that world because there's just so much of it.
So far from a nice, concise, like linear, Uncharted, Last of Us, Spider-Man kind of. Well, I mean, Spider-Man's not linear, but it's more
focused.
Compact.
And that's not a criticism of the game, and that's not to say that we think it's bad either. As we've expressed many times, it's clearly an epic. Yeah, and I mean that in the Grecian sense. Yeah, it is an epic game. It's unbelievable, the scope and the magnitude of it. But I just can't be asked. Like, it's just not for me. It's too much of it. But yeah, there we go. That's what we think of that. Yeah. Let us know in the comments if there are any games that you found yourself just going, oh God, really? Yeah. That again? I've got to go back there? Why? I've killed 40 Rattatas. Do I really have to keep doing it to get to level just so I can beat Brock?
Insane Trilogy relics.
He's an idiot.
They took a while.
Did they?
Yeah. To get platinums and everything. Yeah.
Boo hiss. Yeah. It's time, Peter, for the big discussion.
I don't know why I did that.
That was really unnecessary.
Yeah,
Apologize to the paper.
Sorry.
It's the big discussion time. Peter, welcome to the big discussion.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you about Sonic.
Yeah.
We were probably going to talk about it anyway, but thankfully Eon Davidson did ask. So, Sonic trailer came out. Any thoughts on Sonic's new human teeth?
Human teeth.
I've got the synopsis for Sonic here from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Or at least the film. Sonic the Hedgehog is an upcoming 2019 American-Japanese live-action animated action film distributed by Paramount Pictures and based on the Sega video game franchise. The film is directed by Jeff Fowler and written by Patrick Casey, Josh Miller, and Oren Uziel. The film stars Ben Schwartz as the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog and Jim Carrey as Sonic's nemesis, Dr. Robotnik, alongside James Marsden, Tika Sumpter, Adam Pally, and Neil McDonough.
As Sonic's teeth.
Each of his little teeth. In the film, a small-town sheriff assists Sonic as he attempts to escape the government. Sheriff Tom Wachowski journeys from Green Hills, Montana, to San Francisco, California, to assist Sonic, an anthropomorphic blue hedgehog who can run at incredible speeds, evade capture by the government, collect his rings, and defeat the insane scientist Dr. Robotnik.
Dr. Robotnik.
So this was the subject of actually a quite significant leak. I don't know if you're aware of this. I've only recently learned of it. There was a leak like in the last couple of months that basically was proven to be true by the trailer because it featured everything that...
The Gangsters Paradise thing.
Right.
I think we talked about it on a podcast, didn't we? Or on a video.
I'm not sure.
We read out... I remember reading the text from an article somewhere, and it was like...
It will have Gangsters Paradise.
Sonic says, gotta go fast. Suddenly, Gangsters Paradise begins blaring out.
It just sounds like fanfic.
Yeah. We've definitely talked about it. Whether it was on any of our content and there was a camera rolling, I don't know. But I've spoken about it with someone, for sure. But yeah, so it's basically a load of press got invited to watch this thing early. Yeah. And I guess they had NDAs or something. But someone just said... Yeah, I've been to see this thing, and it's just horrific.
And it is. The trailer. I mean, this whole Sorry saga has been horrifying. It speaks volumes to the larger issue of video game films. Why can't they do them?
Yeah.
We did a list on it in which I reference Sonic's weird human legs because of the leaked poster.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh no, please no." And then we got this trailer and we get to look at the Sonic and he looks like a man in a furry suit. He has actual teeth. His eyes aren't right, and by which I mean he looks like Sonic as Sonic would exist in the real world, but he got sort of trapped in a Jeff Goldblum sort of the fly situation between a hedgehog
human
and a small boy.
Yeah.
And it's horrible.
He has the exact proportions. If you just stop and look at him, especially if you just remove his head, he actually just has the body of a human being. He just looks like a person wearing a blue morph suit.
Yeah.
And then it just with like a slightly larger Sonic-y kind of weird head with human teeth.
It's strange.
It's really strange. The one thing that I did enjoy, kind of, although it was still a little bit like it's been written by just a boardroom.
There are several people who've been involved in writing this.
Yeah. Was seeing Jim Carrey just like play a silly character, kind of reminiscent of Ace Ventura or the Riddler, or
That's exactly what I was going to say. The only reason I would watch this is for Jim Carrey. It's really nice to see him playing that kind of role. But again, talking about the leak, because at the very end, the last shot of the trailer is him looking proper Dr. Robotnik with the mad mustache and the bald head and stuff. According to the leak, that is in the last moments of the film as a teaser to set up the next one.
Really?
Apparently. And that could well be true. And they put it in the trailer to make people think, oh, okay.
It's going to go like that.
Because they've got to be aware of the reaction already, not before they even release the trailer. They've got to be aware of the reaction, because the only people who want to go see this are Sonic fans, and Sonic fans are weird anyway.
So weird.
And even they don't like this.
No.
So they must have thought, okay, it's too late now. We've put the teenage boy in the morph suit, and for some reason we've given him teeth and small eyes. His eyes, they have life to them, and that unsettles me. Almost like Sonic has a soul, and I struggle with that from a theological perspective, because I don't
live fast.
I don't want to think about the fact that Sonic could maybe have a god or an afterlife that he has to answer to. He has gelled his back into sort of spines. Kind of like he doesn't have the traditional Sonic points, but he has little sort of Darth Maul mounds on his back where it looks like he's just gelled his fur into points.
Yeah.
And maybe they just thought, hey, you know what? Let's put actual Dr. Robotnik at the end of this trailer to make people think, oh, okay, this is a car crash, but it might have airbags. But no, according to the leak, this may well just be the very end of the film.
So the airbags. So you slam your head into the windscreen, you die, and then the airbags.
The airbags thrust your lifeless corpse from the vehicle in a really undignified coup de grace.
Snap your neck just to make doubly sure that you are indeed dead.
You slide along the road, and Jim Carrey quips at you.
Well, the thing that bothers me, actually, I'm slightly concerned because I think Jim Carrey has. He's had some mental health issues in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And he's not been doing well. He's evidently probably doing a bit better now if he was able to, take on a fairly serious commitment in a movie role.
Yeah. Big role.
Well, I mean,
No, I know what you're saying, yeah.
It's still 180 minutes or 140 minutes of whatever, however bad the movie
180,
is.
Oh my God, hope not. Please, a
3
tight 83, surely.
But what I mean is, a movie's a movie. What concerns me now is that he's gone, I'm going to get back in the saddle. I'm going to do silly characters.
Oh, no, and then people are going to bully him.
They'll want to do Ace Ventura 3. Not people are going to bully him, but he might have not realized that, this script is dreadful and people aren't going to like this. And he's committed. He's filmed this whole thing. The trailers are now going out. And although people are being nice about him and being nice to him and saying he's the redeeming factor, it might just be like, oh, this was meant to be like my comeback movie, and it's just absolutely bombed.
Oh.
But it might not. It might sell really well because people might want to go and see it.
See it ironically.
It will review really badly.
Yeah, yes.
But it might sell well, and I just hope that Jim Carrey is okay.
No, I hope he is as well. I'd like to think that he's not what's wrong with this film.
No,
I think the the overriding response is that this looks appalling, but Jim Carrey looks great in it.
Yeah.
So that's something. And yeah, some people are going to be assholes, and he may well just see, the reaction to the thing that he's involved in general and take that negatively.
Yeah.
But, I don't know Jim Carrey.
No.
I'd like to think that as a seasoned professional, he'd be able to distance himself from criticism of criticism of the animation team and the design team.
Yeah.
Then Jim Carrey was awful in this film, and he is a bad person.
Yeah, I suspect most of the reviews, certainly from professional critics, are going to say, this film was really bad. Sonic looks really weird. There's massive continuity errors. The one redeeming factor was Jim Carrey's performance.
Yes.
I'm hoping that that's what they'll say.
I'm sure they will. There are a lot of opinions on the Sonic the Hedgehog film. I'm sure you've seen plenty of the fan edits where people have just basically modified it to look either more like Sonic or just put a Sonic model in there from the game. And it's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why if he's going to be animated anyway, why go for this?
Yeah.
Nobody wants that Sonic toy.
Exactly.
Nobody wants that Sonic tie-in game.
Yeah, who wants that on their lunchbox?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're mad.
Horrible.
I mean, at least it would be cosplay's a lot easier than it has been before, I suppose, but God.
That's true.
Disastrous and horrifying, and please let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below about the Sonic the Hedgehog film, and that goes for everything we've spoken about this week.
There is one other thing I wanted to say, which is that someone pointed out on Twitter that there's that bit where loads of missiles get fired at him and they just freeze in the air because from his perspective, as a fast man, they're just moving super slow. And he drums them and jumps on them and stuff. How come he managed to be shot by the tranquilizer dart at the very beginning of the trailer?
No, you're right.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
If everything is so slow for him.
Maybe it's about Sonic's journey as a hero. And to begin with, he's scared and confused. And he is an adolescent. I don't know how old he's meant to be in the games. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna bump into Jonah Hill. Yeah. Jonah Hill might be fat. He might be fit. Who's to say? That's part of the mystery of this at the center of this plot. How fat will Jonah Hill be in this Sonic coming of age film that we're all excited to see?
Will Sonic get the girl?
Sonic is gonna flop up some human woman by the end of the film, just like he did in the game.
Yeah.
He's going to sleep with a human woman. He's going to get a human girlfriend. I guarantee our woman will kiss that furry man by the end of that film. I guarantee that's going to happen.
The last shot is him in bed with the woman and Robotnik just looming over him with the big mustache and the bald head.
And he says, gotta go fast. And then he just makes her infertile just immediately because he's got all kinds of crazy radiation going on. And he's not right. He's not right. He's not well.
Don't go fast.
We should all stay away from him at all costs.
Go slowly. Be considerate.
But there we are. As I said, please let us know in the comments what you think about that thing. I'm hesitant to refer to it as a film. I don't want to.
We'll see.
I don't want to. Peter,
yeah.
Where can they find us elsewhere on the internet?
They can find us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all /Team TripleJump.
Yeah.
And remember that Twitch is for Mondays and Tuesdays now, and YouTube is for Thursdays for streams, and also throughout the week.
But you feel pretty silly holding that ripped piece of paper now, don't you?
Yeah, I do feel really silly. Also, patreon.com/Team TripleJump. If you want to support us financially and help us keep making the things that I hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
We have a website, that's triplej.mup, and if you put a /shop on the end of that, that's another way you can help support us. You'll get things like the hoodie and t-shirt that you see on screen now if you're watching the video version, and the mooge that's in my hand with a refreshing beverage.
Delicious mooge.
The podcast is available. Oh, I do feel really silly with this paper.
Well, you did that.
At play.acast.com/s/team. TripleJump.
No, just TripleJump.
It's /s/TripleJump.
If you're listening to the audio version of this, well done.
Yeah.
You cracked the case.
You did it.
If you're watching the YouTube version and that's too complicated for you, or Peter's flub there has just completely knocked you for six, there are so many links in the description, and they're in the description of every video we upload.
We've got more links than the Zelda franchise.
How many links are there, do you think?
Are
they canonically different links?
Some of them are. Some of them can fight each other in Smash, so they must be. I don't know.
At least two.
Yes.
If you would like to join our Discord, it's bit.ly/Team TripleJump. And as Peter mentioned about the Patreon earlier on, we get our questions from Patreon.
Yeah.
And there's also an exclusive Patreon Discord room. We did our first Discord chat this week, and we spoke to you fine folks on the internet, and it was lovely to talk to you and answer some of your questions. We'll be doing another one of those again, probably in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
And then again at the end of the month, just to make up for that, that we've got a bit of a backlog to catch up with, but we will usually do those once a month, and we'll run a poll on Patreon to find out what the best time is for you guys, and we'll try and change it up each time so people who couldn't make one can make the next one.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can do at @PeterAustin and @BenPotter20. That's 20.
You can also follow us on our personal Twitter accounts. That's also @PeterAustin and @confused_dude.
Yes, that's me.
He's a confused_dude.
I am. We have lists every Tuesday and Thursday. We have streams every Monday, Tuesday and Thursday. No stream this coming Monday, though, because it's a bank holiday in the UK, and Peter is going to celebrate it and have a nice time outside. Last bank holiday, we came in, didn't we?
We did.
We worked both the Friday and the Monday.
I'm too burnt out, though, this week. I need the 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
I might do it on Wednesday. Just keep an eye on my Twitter / the TripleJump Twitter, and you will be told when and where my stream is going to be.
Worst Games is fortnightly.
Yeah.
Next episode tomorrow at the time of release.
Yeah, if you're a non-patron of the certain tier, whatever it is, $5 or something. If you are on Patreon, it's already come out on Friday for you.
We've got it on Friday.
Yeah.
So consider that. And of course, the podcast comes out every Saturday. As I say, every episode, but we've actually had a meeting and it is happening. We are looking at introducing new shows very soon. It is going to happen. Peter mentions feeling a little burned out. It's because we work very hard to bring you the stuff that you get every week. We realize that those of you who followed us from our previous ventures will be used to some sort of fancy-free and silly stuff that we haven't quite been in a position to replicate just yet, but that is coming. Yep. It's on its way. We've got someone who now works with us full time.
Yeah.
And he'll be moving up here to the office in like 2 weeks.
Oh, my Lord.
It's going to change everything.
Yeah.
So bear with us. And if you are supporting us on Patreon through this initial period, we really appreciate it. And regardless, we're really proud of the stuff we're making, and we hope you're enjoying it, even if it is maybe slightly different from what you experienced before.
Absolutely. Ben, thank you for joining us.
Who?
Me and the two friends sitting at the front of the table. Oh, he's done it all the way. Oh.
Scarlet fire.
We will recycle that paper.
No, we won't. We've already said we can't. There's no recycling here at this business complex, and it's really depressing. I don't want to take it home. I don't care about trees that much.
Yeah, you can just grow them again.
We should have reversed it, actually. We should have put that thing down, flipped it, and reversed it.
What's your...
Yeah. That's what she says in this. Kelly Rowland?
Who? What? Hello?
Doesn't matter. Someone will get it. Right. Thank you very much for listening, Peter.
I know she does that, but what should we have reversed? What are you talking about?
You can put the paper in upside down because we only print on one side.
Oh, you mean we should have printed it on double-sided?
We should do that, or do what we currently do, but then put it in the other way so we can print on the other side.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to reduce our carbon footprint soon. At some point.
One day.
Thank you for watching / listening, everyone, and have a wonderful bank holiday weekend, or I hope you're enjoying your bank holiday weekend if you're in the UK, and if not, sucks for you.
Yeah, screw you.
We've got Brexit. What do you think of that? Have a lovely normal weekend, you losers. Bye.
Bye, everyone.